Remember the Temptations from the 60s? David Ruffin and Ball of Confusion, round and around and around they go. Where the world's headed, nobody knows. Welcome to Thad Balkman, Oklahoma Lawyers Association, former leader in the Oklahoma House of Representatives. Good to have you here.
Well, thanks for the invitation.
All right. Let's see if there's been any news this week. What we know so far of the political story of the week, besides the filing, is that 3 legislators have been named as possible targets of a grand jury by the District Attorney David Prater, who we believe to be a principled and ethical man. We also know the colleagues and friends that were named in this particular situation. Now, there's a process underway. There's also the Jerry Springer show that's running sideways and goofy stories and all kinds of, irresponsible activity by the media. Let's set that aside and take a big cleansing breath, okay? Tell us what's going on.
Well, I don't know really what's going on, Scott. First of all, I want to thank Representative Balkman for being here. He's a friend of mine. He has been for some time. And I also want to thank the people of House District 92 for sending me back to the legislature for 2 more years. I'm humbled and honored to do that. Scott and Ted, I don't know what's going on here. The last 10 days of the session, we spend 80 days there doing stuff, and then in the last 10 days it gets all crazy. I would be shocked to think that any of these people, and I know all of them, did anything wrong. I've known David Prater for 25 years. He's doing his job. We need to let the process work itself through.
That's right. And so, Representative Balkman, you know that one of the evils, and we've talked about this for years
That's right.
and years and years, and some of the reporters just now figuring this out. It's called the Conference Committee Report.
Yeah.
And we go on about how the media will say during the session, well, this bill is dead for the session. No,
it's never dead.
It's Freddy Krueger. It never dies.
Never dies.
It never dies. So now legislators really are avoiding talking about conference committee reports. You've been a leader, okay? You've been in these situations where that you have these last days where all this stuff goes on. This system is really broken when it comes to those last-minute, shady conference committee reports.
Well, Scott, I've been a leader. I've also been in the minority. I was in the minority for the first 4 years of my legislative career, where as Republicans in the minority party, we would point over here at the Richard and the Democrats and say, "You guys changed this." And now that Republicans are in charge, it really doesn't make it any better. It doesn't. It's something that really the parties need to come together and say, you know what? Let's really reform the system. Let's make Oklahoma an example and not a laughingstock, and let's get the people's business done on time in a way where people can look and see and observe what's going on in the process.
Transparency, right?
Transparency. Right. It shouldn't be a partisan work.
Time to quit talking and start doing some work on transparency. Let's talk about the players. First off, Representative Terrell, who's normally here every week, appeared on my radio show this week on these allegations, and here's what he had to say.
What has transpired here, and again, observing this from a distance, is not only defamatory to the elected officials involved, it's absolutely preposterous. It is demeaning. And, Scott, I've got to tell you, I believe it to be a serious abuse of process by the district attorney.
Now, that probably is, Randy has said, didn't do anything wrong. Everybody said didn't do anything wrong. We got the process. The grand jury goes in July. Do you think there's some partisan aspect to this, Representative Balkman?
Well, I mean, this thing actually is not just on Randy Terrell. I mean, there's other people involved. But I think the main point is, let's let the process work. In our system, you are innocent until proven guilty. I'm waiting for Christian and Terrell to lawyer up. I know that Senator Leftwich has got an attorney, and I think we need to let the process work. We need to be patient, and like you said, let's take a breath and let's just see how the facts come out. And I'm going to withhold judgment. I think most Oklahomans are too.
Lawyers have a code of ethics that they operate by. Some who don't. You're with Oklahoma Lawyers Association, a very ethical and new organization that represents lawyers. But the fact is a lot of cases are played out in the press on purpose. Sometimes it's with prosecution, sometimes defense, sometimes the media gets involved. But do you think that we're seeing this process in a good light or a bad light in terms of facts?
Well, again, Scott, I don't think it's good light or bad light. It is what it is. I know all of the people involved, the prosecutor as well as the 3 legislators. I would be shocked to find out that any of these people did anything wrong. But the fact of the matter is all of this has been compressed in the last 2 weeks. The session was jammed in there. We even had a bill that was going to reconstruct state agencies in the last 3 hours of the session on the last day. That's not how we should do business as public officials. This is a golden opportunity for all of us to have transparency at the legislature. The Democrats got in problems when they were in power. The Republicans now are in trouble because they're in power. We need to cut it out. We need to work the people's business on board, up front, and transparent.
Okay, well, the unique nature of what we're talking about today, we're going to put tabs 2 and 3 together, what's next, and the filing. The filing happened this week. The rosters are set, okay?
And they're big.
And although it wasn't a record, but the fact is, does this particular controversy, let's put it to both of you, does this controversy go over into the elections, and will the way the legislature has been run, and we were on record last week going, it was run poorly, is that going to go into the elections this year?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt about it. You know, prior to the filing period, there was this anti-government, anti-incumbent sentiment. This will clearly feed into that. And if you look at the people that filed, there are many people that have no experience in the political process, filed, both Democrats, Republicans, and then, yes, absolutely, it's going to have an effect.
Do you see it going over into the elections, Thad?
Well, I think Richard may be somewhat dreaming here. I think this is a big Republican year. I mean, I don't think we need to confuse incumbency for Republican or Democrat. I do think that there are people that are mad at government, but I think here in Oklahoma, you know, Republicans are prone to take a lot of seats this year, up the ticket, down the ticket, and so I think we're going to see big Republican.
But it's still early, though. You got to admit, it's a long way.
Well, it is early. It is early.
Right?
In politics, time is an eternity. There's no question.
Enter the media. Deep cleansing breath.
Yeah.
Okay. Deep cleansing breath. Right. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet.
Back to you.